All right. Hey there, geometry kids. How are you doing today? So, before I start on your lesson for today about cylinders, I wanted to go over some things from yesterday. First of all, it seemed like not too many of you finished the assignment. So, I'm curious as to what's going on. I tried to leave some helpful comments and stuff in some of your questions where you had answers, but most of you didn't finish, like, most of the questions. So, if there is a problem, like I said, feel free to email me and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. Um, but just try to get that done, okay? So help each other. That's fine if you work together. Like I said, you can look in the textbook too if you need extra help, but just work your way through it. I know you'll do fine. Another thing, some of you are kind of missing the concept of a prism. A prism has to have two congruent bases. So congruent in parallel bases. Now, what I mean by that, again, like it has to have like two of the same, like two triangles. Like if you extend it back, there's another triangle back here. Okay? This triangle and this triangle are the two bases. They are congruent and they're parallel. They don't intersect. They're on like opposite sides of the prism. Okay? A pyramid, on the other hand, where it comes up to like a point and you have like a base at the bottom, that's not a prism because there is just one base down there. There's not two. A prism has to have two. Okay? If you have questions, again, when I get back, we can hopefully clear that up. Anyhow, on to cylinders. All right, so here we go. Cylinders. Cylinders are very similar to prisms. Okay? All that's really different is that the two congruent bases are circles. Okay? So, what that looks like, let's get rid of this. It's like if we have a circle and then it extends back and you have another circle behind that. So kind of like a tube. Okay? A lot of the times you'll see them upwards like this. So you have like a circle and then it comes down and around and then it goes behind like. Okay? So again, they have two bases that are congruent and these are just circles. So it's exactly like a prism, it's just a circle. Same thing with the lateral side. So everything that goes around that's not the base is the lateral side. Okay, and so then here in blue are your bases. Okay, so what do we do when we want to find like the volume or the area, surface area of these guys? So let's do surface area. So again, we want to find the area of the bases. And then we also need the lateral area. There we go. So let's have a cylinder here. Let's suppose that we've got our circle here, and it comes down. We have another circle going behind. And so we need some measurements. So in order to find area of a circle, remember how we need the radius? So let's give ourselves a radius measurement. Let's say r equals 4. Okay. And then we also need a height. So let's say our height is 6. Okay. So area of the bases. These guys are circles. So what is the area of a circle? Hopefully you remember this. It should be pi r squared. So we need pi times 4 squared, which would be 16 pi. And then if we round that in our calculators to a decimal, we should get about 50 and then 0.3. So then, remember though, we have two bases. There are two circles, so two bases. We would do 2 times 16 pi, which would be 32 pi. Or if you're a decimal person, you would do 2 times 50.3, which would be 100.6. Okay. Now we need our lateral area. And remember, the lateral area is everything that's going around the sides of this cylinder. So all of this, and even going all the way behind and around the cylinder. So everything of this is our lateral area. Okay. So what we need for that. So let's think about this for a second. If you imagine a can of soup or like a bottle or something with a label going around it, if you peeled that label off, what would it look like? It should look like a rectangle. So really our lateral area, if you imagine, is going to be like a rectangle. And you can think about it. If you have like a piece of paper and you roll it up, that would form a cylinder. So we know our height is 6, and we know the area for a rectangle is base times height. So we have 6, but what is our base? What would we need for that? So look back up in our picture here. If you imagine the base, how long that roll is going to have to be, it should be the full circumference to go all the way around the cylinder. So our base for our rectangle for the lateral area is actually the circumference. So we're going to put that in here. So what is the formula for circumference? Do you remember? Should either be 2 pi r or pi times the diameter. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 pi r. So basically what I have here, to find the area of this rectangle, I need to do 2 pi r, and our radius is 4, times our height, 6. And what is that going to get us? Well, this would be 8 pi times 6. So that's going to give us 48 pi. Or if you did that as a decimal, you would get about 150.8. So then for our total surface area, we need to just add everything all together. So our two bases was 32 pi and our lateral area is 48 pi. Add those together, 32 plus 48 is going to give us 80. So 80 pi Or if we did that as a decimal, about 251.3. Okay, so you should get something relatively close if you were using the decimals. All right, now we need to talk about volume, so let's just put that in this little space down here. Volume is not hard. We know the general formula for any kind of prism was base times height, right? It's the same for a cylinder. We need the area of the base, which is a circle this time, times our height. So we know our area of the base, pi r squared, right? And we got that already. We got 16 pi. Okay? And we know our height is 6. So our volume is going to be 16 pi times 6. And then 16 times 6 is going to give us 96. So 96 pi, if we do that, should get about 301.6. Okay, so that's our volume, either one of those. And our surface area up here. Okay, so make sure if you have questions, either ask Mr. Muhammad for help. Again, you can check the book. There are textbooks over on the shelf. You can get those out and use those if you need extra help. And you can also email me, like I said. I'll try to get back to you as best I can. Good luck. Get to work on your assignment. Really try to get both of those done.